Greetings, 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 everyone, and welcome to Create Yourself Imagery, Intimacy, Innovation, a place where people from all walks of life and various backgrounds come to share their transformative personal and professional stories of restoration, confidence, clarity, and empowerment. I'm Joyce Kiles, your global speaker and life and leadership thriving coach. And if you're ready to transition, transform, and thrive, this is indeed the podcast for you. I am excited to share today's guest. I have known this young lady for close to 2 decades at this point. She and I go way back. She embraced me very early on in my career when I was transitioning out of some of my own experiences. And so, a lot of the create yourself that I talk about when I say transition, transform, and thrive is from my own experience. And she was there to witness that when I had my coming out, if you will. And we have just been friends ever since. She is a dear friend, an advocate, an activist. She is a professional. She's an author. She's a coach. She's a mom. She's just a beautiful, all around great person. And she was also my president when I had my nonprofit. So I just love her dearly, and I'm so excited that she has made time and space to join me in this space, in this season of my life. So I want to present to some and introduce to others, none other than my friend, my activist, my advocate, my coach, executive assistant coach, and chief administrative officer, Harris Ducker. Harris, welcome to the show.
Hi, Joyce. Good morning, and thank you for that wonderful introduction. I had to look around. It's like, who's she talking about? But thank you, thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here with you today.
Thank you so much. I'm absolutely talking about you today. So I want to open up I told a little bit about you from my perspective and things that I know, but I want to give you this opportunity to share with our listeners a little bit about, who you are, and then also how you came into your create yourself journey. So for the next few minutes, the floor is all yours.
Okay, thank you. So I have been a career administrative professional. I think I know it's but over 40 years, if I start counting. And when I started, I did all of the things, receptionist, assistant here, assistant there, with different corporations in corporate America. And when I really decided or really understood that this was what I was good at, this is my gift, this is what I enjoy doing, I was at Stanford Hospital. So I was born and raised in California. And even there, just a bit of history, I've been told and I've basically verified, but I was actually the first Black administrative assistant in the hospital. And that was in 1990. So
Wow,
I don't know
really?
if that's pride or if that's, it's like it goes both ways. It's like there's a bit of like shame and pride, not shame on my part, but
Right.
1990, yeah. And I didn't realize it until when I was there working. And I remember this lady, I call her an elder actually, and she had come by my office and she said, I just wanted to see you for myself. So I looked at her, I said, oh, okay. She said, you don't even know what you did and who you are. And
Wow.
that really stuck with me. It's like, you don't know what you did and who you are. And I said, no, I don't. She said, you're the first one of us to be on this floor in this position. You're not pushing a broom. You're not pushing a hospital tray, a meal tray. You're not an
Mhm.
orderly. And I looked at her,
1990. Mhm.
1990. 1990. So yeah, so that was just a bit of history. I always try to, remember it. Sometimes it's like, it's not a big deal, but you know,
But it is.
but it is, yeah. So anyway, so back to my story. So from there I realized this is what I like to do. And then I transitioned and started working for a cellular company. And I remember our CEO was a woman, And to even get up to her floor, you had to be admitted by her executive assistant. And I remember I was like, who is that person? Who's the person with the power? That was my question always to myself. And then finally I asked someone and they say, oh yeah, her name is so and so. And so one day I just went up there and I asked her, how did she get this position? And she told me, she had basically the same work history as I did. It's just that she was in the right place in the right time. And she applied for the position. Well, I never thought I was qualified to be an executive assistant. I'd been administrative assistant, like I said, receptionist, etc. So long story short, I transitioned to Memphis with my family, my children, in '99, and I was working at several different companies, and then the last organization before the one I'm with now, I couldn't seem to get the position I wanted. I couldn't get a promotion. There was always a reason, or someone was, selected besides me, and I was like, well, maybe it's not meant to be. And so when I turned 55, it's like, you know, I'm just going to try one more time. And I remember it was a nudge, from the Lord. And it's like, start packing your bags, start cleaning up your desk without anyone seeing you, but clear out your things and start applying. So I did. I started doing that. And it wasn't a 1 day process. It was just, over some months. And then I saw this position for an executive assistant at the nonprofit where I am now. And I thought, okay. So I applied and I got a response in like 15 minutes from my former ED. And so I had the interview, went back twice, and was selected for the job, and I was hired. So now I've been with the organization for 10 years. I came in as an executive assistant. I was promoted through hard work and learning how to advocate for myself, which I'll touch on in a bit. But and I was promoted from executive assistant to administrative director, and now currently I'm the chief administrative officer. And saying that, I mentioned advocating for yourself. Well, I was never taught to advocate for myself. I
Mm,
didn't know how to advocate to say, hey, I deserve a raise, or hey,
mhm.
can we change my job title? Hey, can we tweak this, etc. Something that would benefit me because I was, of the generation you work for the organization and it's great, if they give you a raise, fine, etc. But I had my former, well, she still is a mentor, but she pushed me and she's like, you're gonna ask for more money. And I was like, oh no, because I need my job. I have 3 children. She's like, asking for a raise is not grounds for being terminated. So I had to get over that fear. And I asked for the raise and I got it in like five. It was like it was approved. They read the letter, my 2 EDs. It was like, sure. And I was sitting there and I looked and I was like, is that it? Sure. I was like, huh. And I was, then I got upset at myself. It's like, Paris, you're 55. It took you all these years to learn, it's okay to advocate for yourself. And if you're told no, it's okay. You learn how to do it
Mm,
better the next time, right? Until you get a
right.
yes. So anyway, so going forward, so I was working here where I am now, and I love my job. And then the same mentor, she's like, she said, you are so excellent. Why don't you coach executive assistants? Again, the fear factor, she just popped up. Oh, I can't do that. And she's like, why not? And I was like, I didn't know why I couldn't do it. I just knew it was like, because someone else is more qualified than me. And she said, says who? And she said, you say that. She said, so if you say that, then that makes it true. And so I sat down and I thought about it. And again, it was a month, process over some months for me to get it in my head that I have enough experience. I am qualified. I have wisdom to share. I've been in this field for over, at that time, 20 plus, 30 plus years. Yes, you can coach executive assistants. You can coach administrative professionals for a fee. And that was the other thing. It was like, and she's like, where's your worth? I mean, y'all, when I tell you, or Joyce and y'all, I was in like boot camp with her because we worked for the same organization for 3 years.
Mhm,
She would just literally kick me in my behind. She's like, says, why can't you make extra money on the side? And I was like, oh,
mhm,
I don't
mhm.
know. but again, that fear of advocating, thinking that you're not enough, even though somewhere in your psyche, you are, but it's like, oh, someone else can do this better. It's like the word, says who. So
Right.
anyway, so I started coaching some one at a time, an executive assistant for local nonprofits here in Memphis. And then after a while, I had another client, etc. And then, my mentor again, she's like, so go on and put on a workshop. Same dialogue. Who, me? What? When? Why? How? And she said, you plan events for the organization, just make it your event.
Mm-hmm,
She made it
mm-hmm.
seem so simple, but as a coach, that's what you do. You show the possibility of what can be. You throw that vision out there, and hopefully the person that you're coaching will catch the vision,
Right,
or at
right.
least take the first step towards that vision. It's like, look what can be, look at the possibilities. So, like I said, in those 2 or 3 years, she just like, yeah. So I did it, and I hosted my first workshop, and it was amazing. It was successful. And then, so it's like, so I named my company or my organization, and it's called Coaching and Support for Executive and Administrative Assistants. And the acronym is SEA. So it's CSEAA. And so that's funny because even thinking about it and talking about the process, because sometimes, we don't revisit how we got to where we are. So I do
Exactly.
appreciate, yeah, I appreciate this, Joyce. Thank you um, for being able to share. But so it's been pretty successful. Right now, currently, I have two clients, and we meet virtually. I actually expanded. I have a client in North Carolina, and then I have a local client here in Tennessee, and we meet virtually, usually once a month, depending on what their needs are or what, where we are in the coaching journey. So, saying all of that, as an administrative professional, we have to remember that we can lead. We are leaders. Anybody that can manage an entire office, whatever your title is, if it's receptionist and you help coordinate events, you manage calendars, you tell people where to be, if you have a boss, etc., supplies, everything, those are leadership capabilities. If people lean on you and they have a need and they're at your desk all the time or texting or slacking, you're a leader, but you have to see yourself as a leader and a capable leader, you know.
Right,
So
right.
um yeah, so it's been interesting. I love what I do. I don't know that I'll ever retire. We'll see. But I love what I do. And I'll pause. I don't know if you had questions, Joyce, because I feel like I've been
No, you have been wonderful. You
okay.
are you are giving the people what you all want and need, and that
Okay.
is to actually share what this journey has been for you and for those who are listening who may be on the fence about whether or not they need to, jump out there and
Mm-hmm.
do what they do. You have given such great information, transparency and clarity. I love the fact that you have shared so clearly and transparently about the fact that, you thought that other people were more qualified or that they could do it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
so you did not apply, and how simple it was to ask,
Yes.
ask for a raise, to
Yeah.
realize your worth, and how simple it was to ask. I think that just as a society and certainly us as women,
Mm-hmm.
um, a lot of times we don't ask. We've not had people in our circles who have encouraged what it
Mm-hmm.
means to value our worth and ask for that raise, ask for the
Yes.
promotion, ask for the opportunity. When you had an opportunity to sit back and look at who you are and all that you've accomplished, I know this aha of, yeah, you know what, I am all that, and I have done all these things. And it's
Yeah.
so great that you had someone in your life who has shown up for you in that mentoring space. So I think that's another very important thing to lift up is that we need to show up for each other
Yes,
and lift each other up. This does not have to be a competition. It
right.
can be collaboration. It can be sisterhood. It can be brotherhood. It can be working together. And, seeing the value that people have to offer, excuse me, and then as you said, just stand in your butt,
Hmm.
and you
Hmm.
needed that because yeah, you are absolutely transitioning and transforming and thriving into who it is that you're supposed to be, and you're helping other people along the way. So, and
Yeah.
I also know that you're an author. So, talk a little bit about that, please.
Okay. Yes, I during the pandemic, um, and I knew I love to write, I love to read, and hope has always been one of my favorite, I guess, four-letter words. Always wanted to hope, always believing in hope. And so I started, well, actually, I used to put posts out there and it always talked about, different topics, usually like one sentence, maybe two sentences. And I looked back at what I was putting out there and I was like, well, I can, what happens if I put this in a journal? So I took all of everything that I was, had written and added more to it and started talking with the person that became my editor, is currently still my editor. And she's like, I sent her my draft and she's like, this is wonderful. You, I did all the work. She said, all I really have to do is format it. I had picked the cover, the picture of the cover, and the title. And so the title of the book is Today I Hoped For. And it's really simple, but the premise behind the journal is I give you a prompt, the reader, and or the person that's going to be using the journal. And then there are just lines and you fill in what are you hoping for today? And at the bottom, at the end of the lines, the last word on each page in all caps is the word today. So it could be like, my life is so and so and so and so. What am I hoping for today? How can I make a change today? And so it's a 45-page journal. And I'm proud of it. Is it a million seller? No, and not yet. We'll put in not yet.
All
So,
right, I was about to say
but not
that.
yet. Yes. But yeah, so I am happy about that. And I do have other irons in the fire to do some more publishing. I just need to pull some other irons out of the fire so I can get back to my first love. And it is, it's on Amazon. You can find it either under my name, Paris Ducker, or Today I Hope For, and the journal is there. If anyone cares to purchase. But and thank you, Joyce, for that. But if I could, can I go back to the admin
Absolutely.
function
Come
just
on
for
back.
just for a minute? So I would
Sure.
encourage and anyone on whatever your professional journey is, whatever your career path is, always get connected to a professional organization that can also help you. So I belong to this organization. It's called IAAP, that's the acronym, and it's International Association of Administrative Professionals. And they hold yearly summits in different cities. They have a huge presence online, opportunities for that, which is actually where I found this job that I'm at now because I went to their job board. And it's just a lot of opportunities for professional growth, monthly webinars, items that you can glean from, articles, etc. So always connect with someone that knows more than you or people that have connections, they have suggestions. I'd suggest also staying active on LinkedIn. Get your profile out there. Even if you don't have something to say every day, if you say something once a month, if you share an article, if you like someone else's post, but connect with others that are in your same field. And that really makes a difference. And then also, I would add that as a always be willing to learn, always be willing to learn, and do the hard things. I know that's kind of a buzzword now, but it's very true. Learn to do stuff that's difficult, or learning a new process, even though you don't want to, but learn it. And I also want to give a shout out to my current CEO. Um, and it's so funny because he would ask me, he's like, hey, like I'll just say, for example, hey, can you make that cow jump over the moon? And I'd look at him like, I can try. He's like, okay, go for it. And after a while, the cow's jumping over the moon.
Oh,
Right. So it's things
oh, that is.
that I never thought I would be doing.
Mhm, mhm.
Learning grants processes, um, high financial, information, all things that I never thought that I would have access to, or be given the opportunity to do and learn or be in charge of. But because I was open, and I guess probably it was just like I didn't have sense enough to say, I don't think I can do that. I was just like, sure, I can try, and it was like, I can try, now
Yes.
were there failures along the way? Absolutely. Absolutely. But because with his patience, and again, my mentor, former mentors, but it happened. And I can say in the last 10 years, my growth has been exponential. And then I'd also say at my age, everything happened after 50. You know what I mean? So
Yes, yes.
everything that I wanted or thought that I wanted, it didn't happen in my 30s. It didn't happen in my 40s. And I'm glad it didn't, because I didn't have all of the wisdom and the knowledge that I needed to get me where I am and to keep me where I am, to sustain me in this position. So that's another, I guess that's just another um, plug or a piece of wisdom. Is like, don't give up. If you're 50, 55, if you're 60, keep moving. Keep moving. You have it. It's just you have to know what to do with it and be willing to stick your toe in the water and see that it's not either the water that's, if it's hot, it's going to eventually become warm. If it's cold, it's going to become room temperature, but you have to
Hmm.
step out. You have to step out. You have to step out.
Oh, wow. I love all of this. And for those of you, if this is your first time joining us, glad that you're here. If you have been following the podcast for a while now, you know that one of the things that I'm really big on is people sharing tools, resources, encouragement, words of wisdom, things that you can actually tangibly take back with you so that when you go back out into your circles of responsibility, you have some actionable tools that you can use so that you can be successful. And that's what Create Yourself is all about. It's about the imagery piece, the intimacy piece, the innovative piece. And Paris has hit all the markers with all that she has shared today about her journey, about things to do, places to connect. And the biggest takeaway for me in this moment, in all of it, is the part that you lifted up about life after 50. Because I always sign off by reminding everyone to go out and create the life that they desire and deserve, and remember that it can be done at any age. So, you lifting that piece up is so key. Sometimes I think that we get discouraged because we feel like we've reached a certain place in our life and we should have achieved a certain thing by a certain age. And that is a societal thing. That,
It
if
is.
we can remove those limiting beliefs
Yes.
and quit attaching age to them or a certain look to them,
Yes.
a certain social status to them, and just like you said, just stick your toe out there and
Yeah.
just go for it. The world has so much to offer us, and we have so much to offer it. And as
Yes.
coaches, I do know and can definitely relate to the gratification that I feel when I'm talking with someone and you see the light bulb come on. You hear those aha moments and those, I can do that. Or as you
Mhm.
said, I had, I just didn't have sense enough to not say no.
To say no. Yeah. Like, sure, I can try.
Yes, yes, you can try because what we don't want to do is transition from this space not having done things or at least attempted to. Like, I don't want to get to a certain place in my life and be regretful because I was too afraid to give something
Exactly.
a chance, give something a try,
Agreed.
and so you have certainly given example after example after example of what transitioning from one place to another can look like, not just, in the work perspective, but even in your move. Like you left California and moved down south. And that I know is a transition all its own, just in culture, lifestyle, just all the things.
Yes.
So doing that and then just watching you as me being your friend and someone that I have known now for quite some time, I can say honestly what a wonderful support system you have been to me.
Thank
And in
you.
many ways, you have been a mentor to me in places and spaces that I have needed professionally and personally. I mentioned when we started that you were the president of my nonprofit,
Yes,
but if I remember correctly, you started out being the secretary.
I did.
And I
Yeah.
knew that while you are great, I mean, phenomenal when it comes to those administrative needs, you also possess a great leadership perspective that I knew that I wanted for the organization. So, I just, I wasn't necessarily your mentor in that regard, but I did recognize, oh no, I need you here. And the fact that you said yes,
Uh-huh.
and you had said, well, I hadn't done that before, but no one knew the difference because you just showed up and you led. And so I'm sharing that in this space at this time on this broadcast because there is someone listening right now who
Mhm.
has the ability to lead, who wants to
Yes.
start a new job, who has skill sets that they can offer, and they're just too afraid to step out there and give it a try. And I just want to encourage you today to stick your toe out there, as Paris said, and just give it a chance, give it a try. Do it knowing that you have what it takes. Brothers and sisters, you have what it takes. If you want to
Yes.
start your own business, you have what it takes. So if you are starting with the foundation of, I have been working for this person for this long, or I've been doing this thing, or I'm the go to person, as you said so eloquently, if everybody is coming to you and leaning on you, you have the leadership capability.
Mhm.
So invest in yourself, invest in those tools and resources that Paris mentioned, get connected to some organizations. You gave me a great idea, even in this podcast about an organization that I need to connect with because I hadn't thought about them in this way until you
Mhm.
mentioned it. So I'm like, yeah, let me explore. So as we get ready to close out today's podcast, I have asked you about your journey and you have given great tools and resources to use. You have shared about your book, which I want to lift up to say, and that's the reason that I shared it, is because I bought it for myself and then I have gifted a few to others. And I love it. I have written in it. It is actually time for me to buy another one because that one is full. And I
Thank
love that
you.
you mentioned that it's today. We
Yes.
have to focus on today each and every day. What do you hope for today? Because what I hoped for last week is not what I hope for today, and what I hope for today may not be what I hope for tomorrow. But I
True.
love the prompts in the book, so I wanted to make sure I lifted that up. So at this time, since we're winding down, I want you to share with everyone the best ways to get in touch with you. And as everyone knows, if you're listening to the podcast, you see right below it Paris's bio and how to connect, but I also like for my guests to share those connections in voice. So if you would share how people can get in touch with you and repeat one more time the best way to purchase the book.
Okay. You can connect with me. My email is admin@cseaa.net. That's the email address. Again, it's admin@cseaa.net. And I am Paris Ducker. You can purchase the journal, Today I Hoped For. It's on Amazon. And if you just put that in the search bar, it will come up. If you want a signed copy, you can email me at the same email address, and I'd be happy to ship one to you because I do have some copies in my office at home. Um, yes, you can also find me. Well, actually, yeah, no, that those two will be fine. I was going to say on social media, but the executive assistant page, I haven't really been utilizing that, which is another prompt and another push for me to get back to doing that too as well. So, but I am on LinkedIn. It's Paris Ducker. If you'd like to connect, you can find me on LinkedIn for sure. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you. Thank you for your time, your talent, your gifts, your wisdom. Thank you. And if anyone is looking for an executive coach, Paris is the person to reach out to. And I'm not just saying that just because we're friends. But in addition to that, I've seen her work and I have experienced it firsthand and I have learned from her. So I'm definitely encouraging people to reach out to her if coaching services in that realm, what you need, want, and desire. And I'm also going to encourage you to reach out to her directly if you are interested in getting a copy of the journal, because I know that when we go through third parties, there's a process
Hmm.
in all of that. But when you purchase books directly from us as authors,
Yeah.
we keep all of the proceeds and we get to sign it and put our notes in there or gifts or whatever that we desire to do. And so it's a lot more personable. So I'm just going to encourage that. Amazon is great. All the other, platforms are great. But
Mm.
if there's ever an opportunity to connect directly with an author, I'm going to push for that. So please, by all means, reach out to her for services, reach out to her for the book, and just stay connected. Just stay connected. She has a myriad of other things that she is doing and working on. But since she didn't mention them, I'm not going to in this session. But just know that at some point in time, a part two is coming, and we're going to talk about some of those other, as you said, irons in the fire. So just, listen, everyone, and stay tuned because it's coming. Part two is coming.
Okay.
All right. Well, Paris, thank you so much again for being our guest today. And thank you to the listeners because without you, I could not do this podcast. So, as I always say, thank you for tuning in. And until next time, go forward and create the life you desire and deserve. And remember, you can do that at any age. Let's continue to transition, transform, and thrive together.
Thank you, Joyce.